Guys, how's it going? Heather Lynn from Holy Fit here. I was just on my personal page letting people know that what I was going to be talking about over here, hoping that they'll come and join me. Don't mind the way I look. I just came from the gym, so I'm still a little bit sweaty. I need to take a shower or something, but figured this is my real life. This is how you should see me. Don't need to get all beautiful for the Facebook Live presentations. Hey, Teresa, how's it going? So the topic that I wanted to talk about is whether or not you can damage your heart working out too hard. And I know this is a concern for people, especially people that are new to exercise. They might be afraid that if they push themselves too hard, they're going to end up having a heart attack. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and clear things up so that you've got a better idea of what you're getting into. So if you are worried about damaging your heart and you're purposely working at a very low heart rate, you could be keeping yourself from achieving the results that you could get, and you could be actually wasting your time at the gym. And nobody wants to waste their time at the gym. We go there for a purpose, so you want to make sure that you're working efficiently and getting your results. So it's actually extremely difficult, if not impossible, to damage a healthy heart with exercise. So there's the good news. You could even exceed 90% of your maximum heart rate and not do any damage. And I'm talking about healthy people here. I'm not talking about people who have pre-existing heart conditions. So if you have a pre-existing heart condition, or if you've had a heart attack in the past, this is not information for you. This is for people who are healthy and don't have any kind of heart issues. Hey, Kimberly, how's it going? So there you go. That's the good news. So now you're probably wondering, well, how do I figure out my maximum heart rate? And that's a great question. To get your true maximum heart rate, what your maximum heart rate is the highest pulse rate that you can achieve during an all-out effort. So the best way to measure it is to do that all-out effort in a controlled environment. So you can get what's called a stress test done. Hey, Amanda, how's it going? They do it on a treadmill or a stationary bike, and they just measure your pulse basically while you're putting in that all-out effort. If you're not able to get that done, if you don't have the time, you could use the equation 220 minus your age. It's only an estimate and a really kind of rough estimate at that. It's very conservative because it takes into account the average population. And sadly, the average population does not work out regularly, does not take good care of themselves. So you're going to get a really conservative number by doing 220 minus your age. I think they have some calculations that can be a little more accurate. So if you just Google equation to calculate my maximum heart rate, they'll have calculators on there that you can use putting in your information. So it'll give you an idea of what your maximum heart rate is. So it's a good number to know. If you can get the test done, that's the best way to go. But if you can't, then go with it with an equation so you have an idea. So then you want to keep track of your heart rate while you're working out, and you can use a heart rate monitor to do this. You could measure your pulse on the side of your neck or on your wrist. That can be a little tricky though if you're working out, and it can be hard to find your pulse, and by the time you find it, it's already gone down a bit. So if you're keeping track of your heart rate, I highly recommend getting a heart rate monitor, one of those ones. It's a strap that goes around. It's right against your skin, so it's underneath your top. And there's usually a watch that goes with it. You can get some watches that measure it right from your wrist. And you don't have to spend a ton of money on it either. They go for anywhere from like $50 all the way up to $350 and higher, depending on what kind of information you need. But if you're just wanting to track your heart rate, go for the cheaper price models. Otherwise, you're going to have this fancy watch with a bunch of things on it that you're not even using. And I don't know about you, but I have done that before. Spent a lot of money on something where I only used like one or two of the options that it had, and realized that was a big waste of money. So just get what you need. So how do you improve your cardiovascular fitness? I think we all kind of know regular exercise and a healthy diet is the best way to prevent a heart attack. You should be working out a minimum of 3 times a week. I would say 3 to 6 times a week. And in those workouts, you should have About 3 or 4 cardio workouts where you're working between 60 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. So the majority of the time you're going to spend in the lower heart rate zone, but you want to push up to 90% and higher if you want to for short bursts. This is just going to help to strengthen your heart and strengthen everything else, your whole cardiovascular system. So don't be afraid to get into those high numbers. It's going to feel uncomfortable, and it's supposed to, but don't worry about that. Keep in mind, discomfort is temporary. The results you get can be a lifetime. So don't be afraid to get uncomfortable when you're exercising. Just know the difference between good and bad discomfort. So good discomfort is you're breathless, maybe your muscles are burning, you're like swearing at your instructor because you wish they'd stop telling you to keep going. But bad discomfort would be something like if you're feeling dizzy or nauseous or things start to go black. That is bad, or joint pain. So do be careful with that. But you do need to get uncomfortable, you guys. You need to get to that point where you kind of want to kill your instructor. I tell my class quite often they should hate me during the workout and then they will love me later. So what happens when you exercise above 90% of your maximum heart rate? When you're exercising really hard, you're putting in this really huge effort and your muscles start to burn. The reason is because you're now 90% or higher of your maximum heart rate, and you've gone into what's known as the anaerobic zone. So that just means a lack of oxygen. So when you're in that anaerobic zone, your body will require stored glycogen instead of the readily available oxygen in your blood, because there's just not quite enough oxygen to fuel the muscles at that point. So it goes after the stored glycogen. When you are working anaerobically, what happens is waste products start to build up quickly, and the blood flow is not able to flush out the waste products as quickly as they're building up. So that's why you get that burning sensation. To get rid of the burning sensation, you just have to back off a little bit. So for instance, if you're jogging along and you decide to do an anaerobic sprint, all of a sudden you sprint, you pick up the speed, or you run up a hill really fast, you'll start to feel that burning in your muscles. You work through that, you get into that discomfort zone, 30 seconds to a minute, and then you slow down, you keep moving, don't stop because you'll get dizzy and you might pass out. You keep moving so that blood continues to flow and it starts to flush out that metabolic waste that's built up. So like I said, you do want to get into those uncomfortable zones. You want to get the burning muscle, breathless feeling, but it shouldn't be for the entire workout. And I would even go as far as to say split up your cardio workout so that you have one day where you're doing kind of an even, steady aerobic effort. So you're feeling okay, you're a little bit breathless, but you're feeling okay. And then the next time you do your cardio workout, go into those really high zones. It's called high intensity interval training. And then have another cardio day where it's kind of moderate, a little bit of everything. So don't go all out all the time. Just because going all out once in a while will improve your fitness level doesn't mean that going all out every single time is going to make it better. It'll actually make it worse and set you up for injury if you're not careful. So get in those workouts that get you uncomfortable, and don't worry about your heart. If you've got a healthy heart, it's not going to be possible to damage it with exercise. But again, if you have a healthy heart, and every so often people do have underlying conditions that they're not aware of, and I think we've all heard about these incidences in the news where a young kid had a heart attack and they didn't know that they had a pre-existing heart condition. So good to get your heart checked out. If you do have any kind of fears about your heart, if you have any issues come up and you're not sure and you're worried about it, go to your doctor right away, have them check it out. I had an incident where I get heart palpitations. It's nothing new, but I had one that lasted a lot longer than any other heart palpitation I'd ever had. And it was while I was teaching a spin class. And it got me really nervous. I wasn't sure exactly what happened, so I just went to my doctor. They put a Holter meter on me for 24 hours, which measures your heart rate for 24 hours, and it turned out that my abnormalities were normal. So I have normal abnormalities in my heart. So apparently that's okay, so that's good. So everything's good. But if you are worried, if you are in doubt, see your doctor, get it checked out, and make sure that everything's all good. So what are some other factors that could increase your heart rate? Because you know how there's sometimes you're doing a workout and you're kind of working at a level you've worked out before, but you notice your heart rate is a lot higher than you would expect, or maybe you've got your heart rate monitor on and you see that it's reading a lot higher than normal and you're wondering why, and maybe you're worried you're having a heart attack. Most likely not a heart attack, like it probably isn't. But there are some things that can lead to a higher heart rate than you're used to. So some of these things are dehydration. So make sure you're drinking water. When the weather heats up, like it has here in Vancouver, you want to be drinking extra water. So really hydrate well. It could be also due to fatigue. So if you've been pushing hard all week with your workouts or with your work or with whatever's going on in your life, and you've got fatigue in your body, that can come out as a higher than normal heart rate. Infection with or without fever, that can also cause a higher heart rate. And just a note on fever, it is actually possible to damage your heart if you're working out hard with a fever. So if you have a fever, don't work out. Take the day off, let yourself recover, make sure that fever is gone before you do your workouts again. Like, don't even bother with an easy workout on the day that you have a fever. If you got a fever, your body's saying, hey, look, it's time to lie down and take it easy, so do it. Other things that can cause a higher heart rate, anemia. So a lot of us women are prone to anemia. We do have to make sure we're getting enough iron in our diets. So if you are prone to anemia and you notice, your workout, some of them, your heart rate's super high, it could be because of anemia. It could be something you want to go in and see your doctor and get your iron levels checked. Another thing that can cause it is alcohol from the night before. So I have experienced this where I've been out the night before drinking, get up in the morning, have to teach my class, don't really feel like it because I'm a little hungover, and I teach my class, my heart rate's way higher than normal, and it's just because of the what I did to myself the night before. So that doesn't happen as often as it used to, thank goodness, but it has happened to me. And also, of course, use of certain stimulants. So if you've had an extra cup of coffee, or maybe you're using a fat burner, fat burners have stimulants in them, so that can cause a higher than normal heart rate that you're used to. So those are some things that can cause it. So again, if you're healthy, exercising hard is not going to damage your heart. Exercising hard, doing those high intensity intervals will actually strengthen your heart. So don't be afraid of that, but do get things checked out. If you have any concerns at all about your heart, go to your doctor, get it checked out, and make sure you've got a clean bill of health. If you're brand new to exercise, always go and talk to your doctor first, get checked out, make sure you're good to go before you jump into a new workout program. All right, so that's it. I gotta run, I got some stuff to do, and I will talk to you again soon. If you have any questions, comments, anything, please feel free to leave them. If you need to ask me anything, message me. You guys should know by now I love what I do for a living. I love to share it with you guys. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to share this with you. So if you've got specific questions or any topic you'd like me to address on one of these Facebook Lives, send me a message, let me know, and then I'll do the research and I'll talk about it. All right, well, have a great day. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.